Childcare is not optional for working families.
But we couldn't justify with 3 kids. That's $60,000 a year,
And that's just very expensive.
This is David, a small business owner who struggles to find affordable childcare for his 3 children and his employees.
I think parents are correct when they say that childcare, particularly in this country, is expensive.
This is Glenn. He works for one of the largest childcare providers in Alexandria, Virginia.
They look at childcare centers and assume that we're flush with cash or that we've got this great revenue. The reality is we do not. Our margins are very, very thin.
If you and I sat down and I went through my budget with you and I showed you the numbers, I guarantee you would look at me and say, wow, I didn't know, and why do you continue to do it?
And this is Monica, a family childcare director from Springfield, Virginia, who cares for children out of her home. From employers to providers, the childcare industry in the United States is struggling.
Most childcare centers, including this one, we don't make money. The only real way to solve the problem, which is not at all workable, is to raise our tuition. And if we raise tuitions, parents would just be totally out of the field. They couldn't afford it.
I think maybe the monster truck's trying to...
If you're talking about $20,000 a year for full-time childcare per child, so both parents have to be out of the home, it's just unfeasible. The kids are our priority. So we put them first and then the business second. Having the childcare, we could sort of put both things on equal footing and be able to handle it much better than what we are.
To make matters worse, the COVID-19 pandemic has put additional strain on an already fragile system. 8 of 10 business owners said that the pandemic has made balancing work and childcare more challenging for their employees.
In Virginia, which is where we're located, about 40% of child care centers closed down temporarily or permanently at the very beginning of the pandemic.
Both my wife and I started our own pet sitting and dog walking business. We had one very good employee that shortly after she joined us, she got pregnant. Once she had the child, she had to devote her time to the child. She couldn't really come back and work for us.
Almost 2/3 of small business owners approve of direct, ongoing federal financial assistance to families in need of childcare.
There's a direct line between the health of our economy and access to childcare.
Government needs to be smart. We need to invest in childcare. That's number one. Number two, employers need to put pressure on government to be able to support that through increased taxes. The childcare industry cannot do it on its own.
It would just help employee retention and hiring and all aspects of running a business.
All the researchers out there say that for every dollar you as a government or individuals invest in childcare, you'll get $13 in returns of lower cost of secondary education, lower cost of remediation, less crime, more likely successes. So it's a darn good investment.
If we're going to elect people that are decision makers, they have to be informed. They have to be held accountable. And they have to show up when we need them to show up.
Childcare is a public good. It provides kids with enriching early experiences, boosts parents' economic security, and supports economic growth.
We are steward of this nation's most valuable resource, and that's the kids. We have been given the gift to shape our future.
Childcare is one of the pillars of this country's economy. Without childcare, people can't work. If we can't work, we can't pay taxes. We don't pay taxes, we don't have a government. No government, no country. Simple as that.
While the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act cuts down on some of the most significant costs plaguing American families, the problem in childcare has not gone away. We must find a sustainable solution so all families have access to quality childcare.
I think maybe the monster truck's trying to catch it. What do you think?